Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming stuff. This is episode 69, February 14th, 2018.
And we'll just leave that right there.
Leave it right there. You have anything to say about that? Throw it over in the chat.
Oh, you had to invite him.
Right off the bat. Hey, I am Clyde. Today I am joined by Jimmy Trammell.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Michael Aston.
Hello everybody.
And Matthew Ross.
Happy Valentine's Day too. Sorry, it sounded like you paused for a second like I was supposed to say something.
Oh no, I was giving you a chance. I mean, we've only done this for like 69 episodes. Well, 68 technically, but you know, we'll get it figured out sometime.
Yeah, someday.
69 on Valentine's.
We'll have it figured out.
Yeah, I do have to say, guys, well played. Well played.
You know, we totally meant this to happen.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
we looked at the calendar and we said if we do this show every other week for this many months, and then we haven't skipped any weeks, have we?
We haven't skipped any weeks, but we did have one week where we weren't able to create a show, and we actually have a mysterious missing
we have
episode.
A couple weeks where the video doesn't exist, but yeah, there was one that just, yeah.
People were there. It was live, but it did not. It's not on the web anymore.
Yeah. All right. Hey, you know what's going on other than Valentine's Day? You guys, are all your wives successfully wooed?
Yeah, my wife is
on this day of extortion.
This day of extortion is mostly just. What do you want to do for dinner? I don't know. Let's have pizza. So we had pizza tonight. It was delicious.
Pizza. We had steak and lobster actually for dinner tonight.
Oh. And I heard a lot of wine.
We did. Yeah.
How many bottles?
Just one, but just one between the two of us.
I was going to say, you are in Florida. Did you drink to Cougar Town like levels, or?
Well, nearly, almost, yeah.
That's still one of my favorite shows.
I like that show.
I'm so sad it's gone.
Yeah, me as well.
Yeah, we went and saw Greatest Showman as a family, and the in-laws are in town. So my parents-in-laws, my brother-in-law, we all went to see that, and then we came back and we had a shrimp dinner. So shrimp and roast beef, yeah, something like that. It was good.
And we got a visitor.
Yes, we do.
Hey, BBC Dad.
Yeah. I remember, I will never forget, there was one year, my buddy and I went and we're like hanging out, and it was like, hey, you want to catch a movie? Okay, whatever. And we caught a movie. The only thing playing that was like half worth seeing was that She's All That. And then we're walking out of the theater and everybody's looking at us, and I couldn't figure out what's going on. And then I realized, dude, we just walked out of She's All That on Valentine's Day. And he's like, what's that? He said, they think we're together. And then it took him a minute. You could see the wheels turning. And then it was like, oh, God damn it.
Congratulations.
Jack. It was a funny night.
Oh, cool.
All right, hey, well, why don't we get to it? What do we got in the news?
We got some news this week. We got interesting news about YouTube TV. That's they've decided that they're going to be adding additional channels to their lineup. In particular, they're getting the TNT, TBS, Turner Classic Movies, and a couple other ones. Hold on, what are the other ones? I just had this page up. True TV, Adult Swim, Cartoon Network, and CNN all being added to the service. And if you have the service now, you probably have already seen it, which is awesome. But there's a downside to this. They are going to be raising prices from $35 a month to $40 a month.
Mm.
The timing of this couldn't have been better. Because just last week, we were talking about, hooray, YouTube TV is now available everywhere that we want it. And if you're looking at the other services, this is going to be your best bang for the buck. Now,
That's true.
This week, they're like, oh, yeah, but now we're the same price as everybody else. So,
Yeah, we're too good a deal. Let's fix that. So this is actually really intelligent for them, right? Like they were at a discount when they didn't offer a truly competitive service. Now they match all of the competition and they're at the same price.
Well, actually, right now it's still $35 a month, and Google has been known to let you get in there and get grandfathered in for a long time. For example, people who got into the early Google Music deal kept that early deal. I think it was $8 a month for years. So get in now; you might have it for a while.
yeah. So, I mean, if you're on the fence and you think that you want YouTube TV, now's the time.
So,
But you know, I mean, I use Hulu, and you know, I was thinking about YouTube TV, and now that it's available to me now, and yeah, and hearing this news, it's like, you know, I don't know, maybe Hulu's okay, you know, because maybe I'm not doing too bad staying with the Hulu, and I mean, you use this, right, Matt?
I can't believe you guys. Really, everybody, $5 is the difference. It's the straw that breaks this camel's back. I don't get it.
No, it's not that it's too much. I mean, it's a fair price. It's just that when something's cheaper and provides the same service, you can say, hey, it's more appealing.
But it didn't provide the same services as a lot of the other ones. It didn't have these channels.
No. I know. I'm saying now that it does. And if they stayed at so I know they're not gonna, and I knew the price was gonna go up, but it's
So
how's the on-demand service with them?
The
Is it good?
on-demand service on it is just fine. You can basically look up anything via a simple search interface. It feels a lot like standard YouTube, kind of slimmed down to here's your specific channels if you wish, or if you do a search, it's literally searching everything. And you get all your on-demand. You have to skip. You can't skip commercials if you have a real on-demand. They don't let you do that, but I think that's just of the agreements they have with the various guys. But the good news is you can record stuff that's coming up, and unless it's on-demand becomes available, you got your recording of it, and you can skip as much as you want. And the recordings last 9 months, so it's wonderful. Because I can have something on there that just lasts and lasts and lasts and never have to worry about it. And if they repeat a showing of it, it re-records it. You get your 9 months again with it. It's just pretty sweet. So I just first time I turned it on and said, okay, I like Star Trek. Turn on everything Star Trek. I can now go and watch practically every single episode of Star Trek ever, because they've been playing on various channels all over the place. So I understand it's not the cheapest thing anymore. But it was missing, particularly for me. TNT and TBS have some shows, in particular, one of my favorite shows, The Last Ship, that I was missing. And it's a good thing to have these other channels.
Absolutely.
These are all channels that are absolutely necessary, if you ask me.
TBS is a great station. It's also got that show that new Greg Garcia show I was talking about a couple months ago, the Room, or the Guest Book. Was really funny and definitely worth watching. I watched it on the TBS app, though, which is free. You don't have... so that was the thing, is if you've got a streaming player, you can already watch all the TBS stuff. You just watch it with commercials. And it's pretty innocuous, so... I mean, just like CW. They both do that, where they give you it, so, yeah.
No, to me, this is normal. This is natural. This is how it should be going. I totally get price going up sucks for everybody. Really, I do. I still think compared to all the other services, the interface is awesome. The DVR is excellent, and The local channels are all there. It's a lot of different places. I'm surprised more people aren't jumping on this compared to
How are
things
you
like
using it now, Matt?
I am right now using it in a hey, I can't watch my thing in this room because we still have cable, but we're really now seriously getting rid of
I
it.
just mean like which device or whatnot.
I'm using mostly on Roku's.
Okay.
So I'm in a room, I can't watch my normal TV, or I'm somewhere somewhere else at a restaurant or something. I'm on the Wi-Fi. I say, hey, let's turn on the TV show and see what's going on that, on the game or something. We can watch it anywhere, and it's wonderful, and it's live.
Yeah.
So
And it has a built-in DVR too and everything, right?
yes,
Yeah.
and I propose that we give it a 30-day challenge sometime.
Oh yeah, we definitely should, especially now that all of us can use it. Yeah.
But I would pay $5 more, even on top of the 40, if they'd make it commercial free.
I agree. I think if I was paying $100, I would pay $5 more to make all of my shows commercial free. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I love Hulu.
I could be paying free, and I'd pay $5 to make it commercial free. Now,
more
Hulu
than
Live,
$5
you
to
can't
get.
make it free. You can't make it commercial free.
If you could get new content like shows that aired just 20 minutes ago or tonight, and you could get those commercial free, I'd pay more than $5 for it. That would be amazing. I mean,
Right.
I would be willing to pay $50 a month compared to 40 to have that functionality. That's a big deal because while it is somewhat trivial to have to hit the forward button, 10 or 20 times to skip the 3-minute commercial, it's still annoying. And sometimes you forget, or you've got a drink or your food in your hand and you have to set something down to pick up the remote. It's just an annoyance that I would be willing to pay to get rid of.
I completely agree.
10, $15, absolutely. So
Yeah.
give us commercial free.
I believe that is called TiVo.
But does TiVo actually completely remove the commercials?
No,
do
it allows you to skip them.
Yeah, but do you press it once and it skips the whole commercial, or multiple times?
Yeah, well, it's got the 30-second skip thing.
Well, as far as I have not used the TiVo ever, but my understand is that they get permission from the channel to skip the commercial, and if the channel allows them to, which many do, but some do not,
Yeah.
they can
Oh, good.
skip the commercial to the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
That's
I
cool.
never used that feature. From day one, I just fast forward through the commercials, but you get to the point where but there was always a 30-second button. It was disabled. It was a different button, but they had a secret menu, kind of like the Contra code that you put into the remote, and then it would allow you to do, because they weren't allowed to offer that 30-second skip, just like VCRs were, had that issue. But so if you enabled it yourself, that was perfectly fine, and then you could just go boop boop, and then you're pretty close.
Well, all these streamers are missing out on an opportunity, I think, right? I mean, when the commercials pop up, just like, on some of these mobile phone apps, right? How it says, oh, would you like to go ad free? Pay us, $2 or $3 here, and you go ad free. So all you got to do is just have an in-app purchase. Say, hey, you want to go ad free? Just add another, $4 a month to it. A lot of people would hit that, right? And then there you go. They could generate revenue right there.
Yep.
Right?
They're
missing an opportunity here.
Yeah, I would pay to do it by channel even. Like if I could say, hey, let's not do ads on ABC and CBS and NBC or whatever. But I don't care if there's commercials on HGTV because that's background watching anyways, and I don't care if there's commercials on Disney because my kids need to know what important toys they need to be telling me to buy them. Maybe I got that backwards. Maybe I should.
Maybe that's why my kids didn't know what a Wii or what a Switch, anything about the Switch until they got one for Christmas.
Right.
They'd never heard of it. Nobody talked about it. Yeah. I don't know.
I think that at some point we will find they will they will get to the point where they're getting rid of commercials in things. I mean, Hulu offers a commercial-free tier. It's just a matter of getting there with this. Like, I feel sometimes like I'm playing a video game when I'm using my PlayStation View because it's a 10-second skip. So I get to a commercial and I'm like 18 times to skip the 3-minute commercial. It's like
See, I think that's why Netflix is number one in this genre, right? Of streaming services, because they have no commercials.
None.
Right?
Ever.
No.
Yeah.
No, Netflix is number one because they were first, and they're number one because they own the content that they've got for the most part. The stuff that they've had to get at first and has helped them until they've got to this point. And it's helped the fact that they have no commercials at a really reasonable price, $10 a month. This is an amazing deal for Netflix. Nobody should be not have Netflix, obviously, but Netflix doesn't have all the shows, and those channels that are, the ABC, NBC, CBS is out there will never, ever, ever get rid of their commercials. They will keep them forever because they want to cross promote. They want to say, hey, you're watching this show, you'll also love this show. And if you get rid of that, you're going to have them basically losing out on their own things.
There's a lot more organic ways to cross promote and to do that. I mean, it comes down to, like, I watch Hawaii Five-0 a lot, right? There is clearly a partnership between Hawaii Five-0 and Microsoft. Every single episode, there's a Surface computer,
That's a
Surface
sponsor.
tablet. You always see. So there's product placement to cover your ad revenues, and then you add in like an end of show thing, like YouTube does, right? Like at the end of a YouTube video, it'll pop up a bunch of similar videos. At the end of a Netflix does the same thing. It's like the next episode, and then it shows like two other shows that you might want to watch. So there's definitely ways to cross promote without having in-show interruptions and stuff. And really, one of the really cool things about this is if they started to make this transition, then you don't have to have those commercial breaks built into the shows. And the shows can actually be a little bit more natural and more organic. It's interesting when you watch a show that's had the commercials removed, you just like, oh, that was supposed to be a commercial. That's why there was this unusual break. And they kind of recapped the last like 20 seconds again when the commercial ended.
Yeah,
It's
the problem with that, I mean, putting it at the end is good, but don't work it into the storyline. Like, they ruined the final season of Bones with their Ford sponsorship. Every time they would get into a car, it's part of the episode. Hey, this is a nice car. Yeah, it's my new Ford. Wow, you can see when you back up? Yeah, I can do all this stuff. And it's like, oh.
You gotta be, there's a fine line between product placement that increases brand identity and awareness and turning the TV show itself into a commercial.
Exactly,
right?
And that's what I'm saying. You know, if you're gonna put it at the ad, or you see something, that's fine. But when you work it into the actual story of the episode,
they've done that a couple of times on Hawaii Five-0 too, where it's like, can you find that for me? Oh yeah, I can just Bing that, or no
matter how many times they say it, that will never be a thing. Microsoft, give it up.
But that's the exception. As a general rule, you kind of notice it because you're aware, like as somebody that's aware of product placement and stuff like that. I notice it, but it's not usually disruptive or interrupting of the show, at least on that particular show. So
you're never going to get rid of the commercials. Not for anything live. I mean, I understand Hulu has a commercial-free version of its stuff. You're still never going to get rid of the commercials for new shows. You just never are.
Oh, and God King just made a point. He said if they wanted to be evil, they could put in that Roku boot up logo animation where the commercial was to make you think your thing rebooted in the middle. and not only would that be awesome, but it would be super confusing for people that don't have a Roku.
What's going on? So, do you have the Roku of the things that fall in, or the ones that There's
It
a
just
different
stands there and it
animation.
goes ding, 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 and they like dance around.
Actually, different models have different animation.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, I'm just curious. I mean, if they'd have to mix it up to make sure they could hit different people. Like, hey, our Roku doesn't do that animation usually.
Wait, did we get an update? That would be funny. I don't know. Probably move on. But you mentioned earlier that they give you that 9 months to watch the videos. Is that your cue?
No.
Right. Oh, you said you had 9 months to watch the stuff. I was gonna say, you know what else takes 9 months? The wait before I can re-sign up for Movie Pass.
What? That's how you can't sign up for Movie Pass?
9 months.
Did you get kicked out of Movie Pass?
No, I quit it when there was a misunderstanding back at the end of November because they were changing the thing. And then I said, they said, you have 7 days to if you don't want to cancel the cancellation. And then once I figured out that I was wrong and I wanted to keep it, I kept asking them to cancel my cancellation, and what they kept doing was sending me instructions on how to cancel my account. And there was nothing I could do. So it canceled, and I can't sign back up for 9 months.
Oh, that sucks that you can't sign up for 9 months. That sucks a lot.
Especially with this article.
I know. We have a new, they came out with a new thing coming out that they're going to be now lowering their price to $7.95 a month. And now that includes access to Fandor, which is a little streaming site for like little shorts and little documentaries and little private videos that are the small business videos that have been coming out there. So basically, you're able to get the same service for a little less and now more streaming options. Goodness gracious.
This is kind of interesting. Movie Pass is a bit of an enigma to me, just because. I mean, I've heard a lot of speculation as to how they're going to end up making money in the long term, but right now, it does not seem to be a logical business, and maybe it's been expressly explained, but I haven't seen it explained by them how they're going to make money off of it. But it seems like a pretty cool deal. For me, not necessarily the thing, because all I really care about is like opening night blockbuster movies, and my understanding is you can't do that with the Movie Pass. But
I see stuff on opening night.
you'll be able to get in to see Star Wars opening night.
Yeah, as long as it's a normal ticket price.
Really,
Can't be 3D.
Yeah,
can't
it can't be
weird
3D or
price.
IMAX.
That's part of it, is the 3D issue. I like to see most of my movies in 3D when I first see them in the theaters.
But the difference is you can buy a 3D or an IMAX ticket, but you're going to pay out of pocket the difference. Ends up being like $2 or $3, right?
So that's actually, no, you can't do that. That's one of the things in this story. They explain that's why people are getting their accounts canceled, because you're not allowed to use it to purchase part of a premium ticket. So people get their accounts canceled for doing that.
Because I had it happen to me a couple times where
at least for IMAX in here it says that you're not allowed to use it to purchase Fathom events or IMAX content, and that's why some people have reported getting cancellations they claim for spending too much, buying too many movie tickets. But Movie Pass has come back and said, no, it's not really that. It's that they're breaking the terms of service. They're using it to buy premium tickets or buy the tickets and then resell them for
that you can't do. But I know there was a couple times where I went to a regular movie, but it ended up being the time that the Movie Pass told me to use ended up being a premium price. And so it went through for a specific amount, and then the theater said, well, you owe us $3. And then I just had to give them $3, and it was good. So, but I mean, yeah.
So is it just me, or, when you think about this, okay, $8 a month for Movie Pass, yeah, I mean, which is a good deal, right? But so for $8 a month, they'll give you a pass to drive down to your local theater to watch, basically as many movies as you want to watch, right?
One a
But
day.
they won't let you rent just one movie to stream to your house that just was released, right? I don't quite understand the economics. You think
So
somebody
that's-
would come up with that kind of service, right?
So that's the thing. Like, what's happening right now with Movie Pass is paying for those tickets, and that's why I said, how this business ends up making real money in the long term is yet to be seen. And like I said, I've heard some speculation, but Movie Pass pays for those tickets, and so they're obviously running at a loss. If you see a single movie, then they've probably lost money just from that one movie because most tickets cost more than $8. And then every movie you see after that, they pay for, and so they lose that much more money.
Well, there's
Month.
two things. There's two things right now that they have admitted to doing. Number one is they've been driving business into the theaters and building goodwill so that they can now say, hey, we sent you all of this extra people. Why don't you give us a cut of the concessions? Because now these people are buying concessions that may not have otherwise, because,
Right.
And then the other thing that they're doing is they are now beginning to promote and invest in movies because they're able to show and then get money from the different studios. They've been able to show that when they on the Movie Pass app, when they say, hey, recommend you check out a movie, there's enough users that actually go that they can go to the studio and say, hey, we have an audience. We can direct them to you if you give us some, if you want to pay us like commercial or give us a cut. And then they've also started investing in movies themselves because now they have a base that they can direct to that theater to see their movie that they have a stake in. So there are ways to get money in the back end, just similar to selling commercials and then also investing. So you look at it, it takes money to make money, right?
Yeah.
But it's a loss leader. Back in the day when Netflix started streaming, everybody said, how are they going to make money doing this? This makes no sense. And then
Right.
now it's just ubiquitous. It's like, oh yeah, that's just the thing you do. And then, and you could also look at it from like the Google perspective of disruption. Even if they lose a ton of money, did they manage to disrupt the current status of, or the way people look at movies or do it? And if so, then awesome.
Yeah. So to Jim, the reason I went down that path though was to explain to Jimmy why the streaming on opening day thing doesn't make sense, because now that Clyde's explained that, you don't get the concessions, so there's no partnership with the movie theaters to get concessions or any additional revenue there, and you also don't have the goodwill with theaters and the opening weekend thing. Now, you could argue that you could still drive sales to those movies. So getting partnerships with studios to get viewers on the movies, you could still do that. However, if they want them in theaters, which is more profitable for them, then that's not going to work. But, it depends on what you're willing to pay for a streaming event, right?
Yep.
If you're willing to pay the same price to stream it as you would pay to go see it in theaters, then it becomes comparably profitable for those studios, and maybe
I have a feeling that down the line, when if this becomes the success that they want, they will start offering the streaming as an option through their app. Where yes, you can go. Now that they've got goodwill with the theaters or with the production studios, they can say, hey, we will pay for you to go to the theater, or you can stay at home and watch it for free too.
Well, then
Only
the theater
select
wouldn't be
titles,
happy
though.
with that. They'd,
No,
they'd lose out on.
But the studio
Yeah.
wouldn't mind, because if they're still, if they can negotiate a rate that studio still gets paid, then MoviePass saves, let's say it was $10 for the movie ticket. Let's say now certain movies can be streamed through the app and they only have to pay $7. Then, everybody wins. The studio still gets their cut. And
I mean, for the theaters, right? I mean, I think, if they offer the premium service, right? I mean, the ones that where they serve you dinner, as you watch the movie, or had the reclining massaging chairs, and all this kind of thing, right? You can still have that experience where people might go out and watch it.
that's what I did.
But
yeah.
yeah, and I think that experience is still, worth the money, right?
Yeah.
But for just your regular average theater, right? I think, the value proposition there is not all that good anymore, right? I mean, especially, versus streaming it at home, right? I mean, used to, if you go back years ago, right? I mean, movies that were released wouldn't allowed to play on television until like 5 years later, or something like that, if you go back far enough. And then that finally that got whittled down to like 2 years, right? And then like maybe 1 year. And now we're down to, 4 months now before it's out on DVD, right? So, and I don't know, maybe that's the line in the sand that the studios have drawn, is that, okay, we won't let it go any further than that. But I really can't see that, right? I think that that it is going to come one day that you'll be able to see the movie right at, or at least near the time of release of the movie at home, streaming it. And the only differentiator that there would be is that you have this premium service at these premium theaters, right?
Yeah, I think I was talking today about the seats, because I went to Cinemark. They've got the new reclining seats, and the whole theater's been renovated and stuff, and it's very nice and very comfortable. My in-laws were very impressed by how nice the theater was, and I was like, all theaters are like this now, aren't they? And
No.
At least in my area, most of them are. They've made this conversion. Alamo Drafthouse doesn't have recliners, but it's got tables and it's got full food service, and the food's amazing, and so I absolutely love going there. That's my personal preference of place to view. But the thing is that, like, if you're looking at just like Cinemark, where I went, $6 for a drink, $10 for popcorn, a recliner that's comfortable but not anywhere near as comfortable as my sofa or recliner at home, you're still questioning why you're doing this. And ultimately, for me, it's got to come down to two things: the quality of the video and the quality of the sound, and maybe a third thing being the experience is designed well for that show. So Greatest Showman, for example, at the beginning, he says, "Thanks for coming to the theater to see this. This is the way it was meant to be viewed." And it actually makes a difference to me. I can imagine that show would be much less dramatic and exciting without this like cacophonous sound, because it's a musical. It's the intensity of the sound in the movie theater that most people can't replicate at home. The size of the screen that's fully engulfing and engrossing. Again, most people have, even if you've got like an 85-inch TV, it's nothing compared to a full-size movie screen. But not all content is that well done for being front and center at a movie theater. And if it doesn't benefit me, I'm not going to pay $10 to go see it there.
Yeah. See, that's one reason why I was the perfect example of what MoviePass can do, in the fact that I never go to movies, because I don't want to deal with the prices of the concessions. I don't want to deal with the people. Yeah, I mean, having something on a big screen's cool, but the theater where I would want to go. I'm not going to spend the money. But then when I got Movie Pass, I was seeing multiple movies a week.
Yeah.
I saw more movies in like that 3-month span that I had Movie Pass than I had seen in probably the last 10 years in the theater. And for the movie theater, you're getting people like me to say, well, it's free. Okay. And then now the concession price isn't nearly as offending when I didn't have to pay for the ticket. So the money that I would have spent for the ticket, I can now buy a soda. And then plus the place I like to go to is one of the places that they have to serve your own soda. And so, I mean, you get the big giant soda, and then you can fill it up as many times as you want. You can dump it out just to be like, haha, I get to refill it, you know?
Don't do that.
Down with the system, you know? Not that I would.
When sodas are no longer refillable, you can blame Clyde.
No, I would punch someone that was doing that just because, dude, don't ruin it. But, no, but you could. And, you know, the food's decent. But, yeah, I wouldn't go there normally. I haven't, since my Movie Pass was canceled, I haven't seen a single movie in the theater.
So for me, it's exactly the opposite of what you guys are talking about. I go to the movies to have the movie experience. I don't want to have interruptions. My cell phone goes on silent. I can actually do that and say I'm in a movie theater. I can sit down and sit back and not worry about anything else. I don't have to worry about dishes. I don't have to worry about what I'm making for dinner if we're going to have some food there. I'm not going to worry.
But can you guarantee all the other teenagers in the theater will also put their phones on silent?
No, I cannot. But I'm pretty good about dealing with that. I'm watching the movie. I get sucked in.
Pick the right movie theater, and you don't have to worry much about that.
Right.
Alamo Drafthouse kicks everybody out that talks. So
and that's great, but they don't have any in West Palm Beach.
I know none of
they're expanding quickly. Maybe soon.
If I'm going to the theater, I'm going for the experience of not having to have that at home experience. Even if I had a theater in my house, I had a room dedicated with curtains and all that stuff, I guarantee you 10, 20, 30 minutes into it, somebody will be interrupting me and say, hey, could you take care of this? Or, hey, this is going on. Do you want to? Should we go to the store? Or, let's just sit down and let's watch a movie and not have any of those interruptions. Thus, for me, I'm absolutely all for every once in a while, let's go to the movie and just do that and watch a film and have a good time.
And I will say, I started to find my niche with the theater, where most of the time Tuesday night was the time where I could go. And if I went to the later showing, after I dropped off my kids and drove across town, go to the later showing, for a movie that's been out for a week or two, I could be the only one in the theater. And that's the point. I like that. When I'm the only person in this giant stadium theater. I mean, that's how I watched the Spider-Man Homecoming. And it was cool because I got an emergency call from work in the middle of the movie, and I looked around, there was no one else. I was like, yeah. But no, I mean, yeah, I mean, and it's also good for the studios, because I saw a couple movies that I never would have probably even watched, like what was the Jackie Chan movie, The Foreigner.
Well, I wanted to see that. That looked good.
It was okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I actually watched it after it was released on DVD. I rented it online and streamed it. It was actually pretty good.
Yeah, we can talk about it after. But yeah, no, I mean, it's good for the studios, because again, the guy that never goes to movies went to see a movie that he never would have paid for in a million years, and that's a win-win for everybody. You know, so.
If MoviePass is able to keep this web of connections and funding sources and make this continue to work for a long period of time, good on them.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we should say that back to the actual story, you know, the lowering of the price to $7.95, that's for a year, so you're paying up front for 1 year. But there is also a $20 service fee which basically you're only saving like a couple bucks overall. But yeah, hey, it sounds awesome, and it's funny because yearly subscription was the whole reason I canceled, because I didn't want to pay. I wanted to be in a month to month, and I thought they were forcing me into, but it was a special event that they didn't really explain very well. So now I can't sign back up until August.
I'm sorry, man. We should move on. We have a story here. Looks like the Fast Company decided to review the Kuvo box. Anybody remember the Kuvo box?
Is this the thing that we saw at that we talked to those guys at the Sands, Mike? That you plug all your HDMI devices into?
I don't think so. I know it's very similar.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the brand that we looked at.
That's what I didn't think so.
I think we talked about this many months ago, maybe even over a year ago.
Yeah.
It is a kind of a universal HDMI connector that's able to connect all kinds of various devices to it, so you can connect it to your TV. It's attempting to do what Clyde wants: one remote control to control everything. So. Fast Company is basically saying that they've spent some time with it, and it is able to make your various devices interact correctly with each other. But in particular, one of the things that they wanted was the ability to be kind of these cross-platform devices where you could talk to your Amazon Echo and have it to control your Apple TV, was as an example. And they found that it wasn't so good at that. It still had a lot of work to go. This first version of this device is we're going to have 5,000 of them available for people to buy, because it's a very limited special edition, and that's why it's $400 with a walnut cover. So maybe they'll come out with a less expensive version, but their verdict essentially is it's $400 and that's too much for what it can't do.
Which was the thing that we saw at CES was similar, and again was the same thing. It just cost too much. What was it like? Wasn't it like over $1,000? The one
like
that we saw.
It was. Yeah, it was. It was the whole audio system as well, though.
Yeah.
So similar functionality for like $1,200, but it included like the built-in amp and stuff like that.
And
so
it had a great on-screen display for like settings and stuff, and it was really nice. But yeah, it's still.
So basically, it's a $400 HDMI switch.
Kind of.
Well,
with one remote.
And voice controller, right?
Yeah.
So that's the real trick, is that it provides voice control integration to those devices. So it's a $400 super fancy remote. And I just recently got a Home One. I'm probably totally forgetting what I actually have, but it's it's Harmony's newer remote, and it does a hub system that integrates with the Amazon Echo, and it works with whatever devices you have, just like any Harmony remote. So it offers a similar functionality. I can now talk to my thing and tell my TV, right.
You can see how much I use my Harmony. You see how much dust is on it? It's just been sitting in the cradle for like 2 years.
No.
That's the one I had before this, and I wasn't able to control all of the devices that I have now.
Yeah.
With that, because it's so old. But this one I just picked up, and like I said, it integrates to my Fire TV, so I can control that. I control my sound bar volume. I control the TV, and I can do that all through the Echo now as well. And so I can tell my TV to turn on, right? I don't have to find the remote. I don't have to do anything. I can just give those commands through my Amazon Echo. And so to me, that's really cool. And that's similar to what they're talking about here. Now, I haven't ever tried to do app-specific searches, like let's watch this on Netflix, which is what this is purporting to be able to do. That sounds very cool. And if it works really well, then that's a good feature. I'd be interested in something like that.
Yeah, it seems like that what they're going to end up doing after this initial 5,000 unit run is that they're going to release a less expensive version of this, probably with fewer inputs. and because they're basically looking to see what the industry is and the consumers are looking for after this premium device comes out. So we may see a version of the Kuvo Mini in the future, and it may be much less expensive. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll make hundreds of dollars.
I will note the one thing that was really cool about the one we saw at CES is that you get to the granularity is there where you get to decide. Let's say you've got an Apple TV, you've got a Roku, and an Android TV. All three of them can do Netflix. So you tell the box which one do you want to be the default Netflix device. So you don't have to say, play Netflix on Roku. If one of them's got a better interface that you like, you just say, open Netflix, and then it will open it on the device that you have and if you want to, one of them gets an update and now you like it better on the other thing, you just go in easily and change it. And then you don't have to specify inputs. You just say this.
I have a question. Now, Michael, you said you have this brand new Harmony remote that basically is pretty good at covering everything, right?
Yeah.
How much did that cost you?
Like $120, I think.
It's not bad. Okay.
Got it.
That's much cheaper than this thing. So.
Yeah.
So these guys will make hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. I was going to say, the price, I want that. I really want that. But I can't get past the price. I mean, I had enough trouble justifying buying a new pickup for my guitar that I actually desperately needed for $80, let alone $400 for a thing that's like,
Yeah.
An HDMI switch.
Yeah. Although I hate HDMI switches because it's another remote and you have to go, all right, which... crap, it's the wrong one. Then click around, then you find it. And too many buttons, too many remotes.
I mean, it is an interesting... okay, all jokes aside, it is an interesting idea to kind of, a little twist on consolidating devices and that kind of thing. But, the utility just isn't quite there yet, right? I mean, and especially not at the price point.
Mm-hmm.
No, that price point.
But it's like beautiful walnut finish. I mean, that's
and that's changed. You get to customize that. You can make that anything you want. That trim.
All right.
So you can match it. You can match it to your decor.
You could probably buy a walnut TV for $400.
See, there it is. There it is without the cover on it, which I actually kind of like it without the cover. Looks kind of cool, but
very cool. All right. We have one story here about the fact that Disney, they've got their streaming service that they've been talking about for a little while, and now we have a couple of details that have come out exactly what's coming on with this service. Looks like we have they're going to be spending a lot of money on many various shows that they've already, various known properties like Star Wars and Marvel movies, but they also have some new content that they're looking to do. Some will include things like Don Quixote. The Paper Magician, looks like a Lady and the Tramp show. Stargirl, To Go, 3 Men and a Baby. I mean, really, 3 Men and a Baby? What do they? I sure hope they don't make that in like a Disney show or something like that. Anyways, Sword of the Stone and Timmy Failure. Never heard of that. So these various shows are ones that are coming up for it. That this new service will be introducing to us. It sounds like this is a Disney Channel streaming for you wherever you want to go. It really doesn't sound like a big change to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just adding in the Star Wars and the Marvel movies, right? I mean, just that alone will get them a lot of subscribers, right? And the other content, I mean, 3 Men and a Baby. I mean, the movie, the 1980s movie, I thought was great.
Classic.
Right? Yes. Yeah.
Even
so,
with this creepy ghost in the background.
It doesn't matter. It's still classic.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they're remaking all of their movies and stuff from the past because they decided that these are tried and true things. Why not make them again and sell them again?
It's
And
because Tom Selleck's mustache is back in style. They need to capitalize on that.
yeah, yeah. I'm actually really excited about this. The thing is that one of the biggest reasons I have all of the services I have is because of trying to get all of the shows that my kids like to watch. So if this gets me a large portion of those shows, then I can probably cancel, PlayStation View, and well, I think I've already canceled Hulu, so really I'm just down to like PlayStation View and Netflix. I would be totally fine with going just Netflix and Disney. I don't feel like I would lose that much, especially if my kids had this to keep them happy. And at $10 a month, that saves me like $30. So I would totally be $30 or $40 and totally be on board with that. And I'm super excited about what Disney's been doing lately. Like the movie quality that they've released is just continuously really high quality, at least for me. They're redoing the live actions for all of their animated shows and stuff like that. And those have all turned out to be really good so far. And, I'm a big fan of Disney right now.
But as Brian reminded me a couple times over the last couple shows, they took away Song of the South. I was trying to explain to my kids. They were like, things disappear. Just because you can't find it doesn't mean it never existed. I mean, because I saw Song of the South in the theater in the 80s when they used to bring movies back. I saw it in the theater. And then now it's like it never existed.
Yeah.
Song of the South. I have seen it. Zip-de-dee-doo-dah and all that. Most famous song ever, I believe.
Yeah.
But when you say Song of the South, I'm sorry. Alabama comes into my head. I'm sorry. Sweet potato pie and a shut my mouth.
Yeah. But so I don't know. I'm not super excited about them revisiting their old stuff, but
right,
but it's not. I'm not the
too.
target demographic, so I won't like get all down on it.
Make no mistake, as Michael's been saying, Disney knows how to make good movies, and Disney knows how to make money. I have no doubt that they're going to, and this service is going to be $5 a month, which I am totally going to say that doesn't last forever. That's going to be a year max. They're going to bring that price up because there ain't no way they're going to do that for that long. But anyways, no, I have no doubt they will figure out how to do what they want to make their money here. So good for them.
Yep.
They started cheap like this so that every time they add new features, like, oh, we just added all of these Disney Junior shows. We're just going to charge a few more bucks because of all this added content. So then they'll jack up the price that way until it's $20 a month, and you didn't even realize it because it was just, oh, I got all this extra stuff.
Been hooked.
Mm-hmm. All right.
We have one last story here.
Yeah.
Apparently, Viacom is launching its own streaming service this year. Yeah, this is a kind of... Let's see what's going on here. Viacom said that they are planning to start a streaming service in September of this year. And that they will be tens of thousands of hours of content available, all of Viacom's library. And not a lot of details here about what exactly is going to be available on here. But Viacom has the Paramount Network and many of the various... the Viacom is like what?
That's Comedy Central,
MTV,
and the
NTV,
BET, basically all of the stations I don't care about.
Yeah. I liked MTV a lot back when it had music on it, and
so back in the 80s.
Yeah, back in the 80s. Since then, I've been totally uninterested in it. Comedy Central's had some funny stuff over the years, but I haven't found anything of interest.
I mean, you can get South Park anywhere by design, so you don't have to watch it on Comedy Central. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, MTV, post 1990 has just not been very good at all.
I read this article the other day and I could not wrap my head around it, but what I would recommend is if you haven't already, watch this week's episode of Cord Killers, where Tom made a very good attempt at explaining how this is, because I don't even think Viacom understands what they're trying to do, because they're saying that cord cutting isn't a thing people want cable.
Yeah.
So you need but they're making a cable add-on that's available to streamers, and I don't get it. I don't. Yeah. I don't think they. It feels like there were 3 groups in a meeting room for like 12 hours, and they all had to make concessions till everybody was like, okay, fine, that's good enough. we can't do that unless we do something else, and it feels like a decision by committee, which typically doesn't work out very well.
Well, ever since the Viacom CEO basically said, "Oh, we're not going streaming services. That's not what we're gonna do. That's a losing bet," and essentially ignored all the trends that are going on in the industry. They haven't been anywhere for anybody to see, except for, I think you can still get it through Sling.
Philo.
Philo has. Oh, Philo. That's right.
Philo has it. That's one of the big draws for Philo, is that if you don't care about sports and you want Viacom, and you don't want, and you want to save like half the price of, or more than half the price of everybody else, Philo may be a good deal for you.
Right, but they're going to put themselves into obscurity if they're not careful. They're going to be. I mean, nobody's going to watch their shows. Their shows are going to. I know it's going to get worse, is what I'm saying. They're going to be able to say, they're going to have to say, why is nobody watching our shows? We're going to have to start spending less money on our shows. We're going to start making more horrible shows that are cheap.
Yeah,
and then suddenly it'll be less people wanting to watch it. It's going to be down
more viewership than all of your networks combined. You have a problem.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. Yeah. I guess with that, let's move on. All right. I had to wait until Mike finished wiping his eyes. Rants and raves. Thanks to the bumper that's working again from our buddy Jotman, or M-Beam, or God King, or whatever he's called today.
I'm so happy.
All right, guys, what you got? What you got?
I'll start. We so every year or every 2 years, we get me and my wife and my son get together, and we watch the intro to the Olympics. It's kind of a weird tradition we have, and this year it was a pretty good show. It was a little short, and the secret to watching the Olympics with your family is to pre-record it, don't watch it live, and B, during the Parade of Nations, fast forward.
But that's the whole reason you watch it.
No. You watch it for they have this little art piece, and they have all this other things. And when it's something boring, you can fast forward through that. Like, it's the international guy from the Olympics, and he's talking about how important it is to be, involved in this. So, okay, fast forward, whatever. So that all I have to say is that if you do that, it's a great hour of your life, not 3 or 4 hours, and it's fun to watch everybody going. You could stop it and say, okay, let's watch the Americans walk in. We can go at normal pace. And the guy from Tonga, who's shirtless and oiled, who looked, he basically did it the first time in the Summer Olympics 2 years ago. He's still doing it in the Winter Olympics. Man, that guy must be cold.
Wait,
yeah,
there was a guy that competed in the Summer Olympics and also in the Winter Olympics?
Yes, there was a guy.
Huh.
Did he compete, or was he just a standard bearer?
No, he was also the standard bearer for Tonga, but no, he actually decided he wanted to do the Winter Olympics. I forget what sport he decided to do, but he literally he's in the Olympics somewhere.
I guess that would be one of those countries where they don't really have a lot of winter to begin with, so the pool of experts in those sports is pretty small to pick from. It's not like a guy that was good at water polo decides he wants to be on the snowboard team and he's from like Denver, Colorado. Yeah, get in line.
Yeah. Well, it's been really cold there, so that's pretty impressive to walk around for him to be able to pull that off. Because my understanding is it's been like approaching 0 degrees, and
As it should be
chill
for the
and
Winter
stuff.
Olympics.
Yeah. Yes, but I wouldn't. Those are not quick walks, right? Like they're not just like,
No.
oh, let's run across here. He was probably regretting that by the end.
Oh yeah, that's one of those things that. But when you commit to something, and then you realize I made a big mistake,
No,
but you
actually,
can't
the
take it back.
The oil was whale blubber this time to insulate him.
He just
No.
needed to stay far away from the torch.
Apparently, it was coconut oil, but that's okay. No, 2 years ago he was Ti Kwon Go. This year, cross country skier.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah,
going
nobody wants
shirtless
to
and
compete in
zero.
cross country skiing anyway.
No,
So.
I don't think he's doing the actual event top without any shirt on.
All his events have to be oiled with no shirt.
If he did that and medaled,
See, it's
Are
a
you-
gimmick to throw off the fact that they couldn't afford enough uniforms, and he was like, "Well, once again, you're the guy that doesn't get a uniform."
It's all just mind over matter. You know, if you don't have a mind, it doesn't matter.
There you go.
I like it.
Ouch.
Ah.
All right. You got something, Jimmy?
Oh yeah. So a couple of shows ago, the last one I was on, I think it was you, Michael, that was saying, yeah, you know, these home assistants or smart speakers, you know, they're really a thing. You should give it a try. So, you know, me being the Apple fanboy that I am, Apple, you know, the HomePods went on sale, so I went and picked one up, and it's just right over here, actually. So if let's see, hopefully the demo goes well. So if I say, oh, should I?
No,
I mean,
it's okay.
Do it.
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
it.
do it.
I don't
Okay.
think. I think you're the only person in America that has one.
Oh,
At
okay.
least the only one that
So-
like watches this show.
and once Jimmy starts, we all have to like make as much noise as we can so that we can be like, see, that Apple thing doesn't work worth crap. It couldn't even.
Yeah.
He's got headphones on.
This may be a big fail then, right? So anyway, here we go. We'll try it. Hey Siri, play my favorites.
I'm playing your favorites mix.
Did it say it doesn't know what your favorites is?
No, playing your favorites.
Oh. Is that
So-
the Gin Blossoms?
No, that's REM.
Oh, it was REM. Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell it.
Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, I picked one up, and I have to say it sounds really great. You know, it's
It
kind of
sounds-
small.
Sound didn't seem very good. I'd return that. That sound quality.
Sorry. Yeah. I mean, you know, but the sound quality is quite good. You know, I'm pretty impressed with it. And, you know, things like, you know, playing the news, you know, that's one feature that's in here. You can say, hey, you know, the keyword.
Do you
play
have?
the news.
Does it play Daily Tech headlines for you?
It will if you say that.
You should.
Right? Yeah.
You should make
you
sure
can
you
play
add
like
that in there.
like Tom Merritt's podcast, you know, where you do the Daily Tech News. Just say, hey, play the podcast, Daily Tech News, and it'll play Tom Merritt's podcast. So, you know, it does a lot of that things. You know, it'll do the weather and all that kind of thing.
Cool.
But, you know, so, I mean, I have to say, I like it more than what I thought I would, actually. Right.
I
so-
actually suspect that the Siri will end up being a perfectly fine option for your intelligent artificial assistant, you know, and a speaker thing. So the question is here: is the speaker really that good?
I think so. I mean, the quality, I mean, downstairs I have, a home theater system. It's a Bose speakers system and, really, really high quality. I mean, this is just one speaker, mind you, right? But it's not a whole speaker system. But I gotta say, just for the one speaker and all, the quality is really good. I know, there's a chip inside there, and it does a lot of, there's a lot of algorithms that it goes through to give you the supreme sound, balance it out and everything and all. And uh, you know, I think most of the music I listen to, probably because of my age, there's not a lot of bass in the music that I listen to, but occasionally there's something right that I will listen to that might have it. And the bass for that little small speaker really, really, it really thumps pretty loud, right? I mean, you can really almost feel the bass when you get it.
Ask it to play some Skrillex for you, and then you can really test it.
I don't even know what that is.
Exactly. Just ask it to play Skrillex, and then you'll find out what it can do.
And when your ears stop
well,
bleeding.
All right. Well, maybe I should wait until.
Well, if it was bleeding, then it's the Justin Bieber song that he did. So that's how you know.
I heard rumor that was just recently that often the people with HomePods are noticing that the bottom of the HomePod is leaving a white ring on whatever it's laying on due to it shaking so much and leaving a mark on the surface of things. So don't put it on anything nice or put it on something that you're not going to ruin.
Or stone.
Who knows?
It's not going to be.
So my desk here. I mean, I don't see any white ring there. So if you touch the top of it, it's like a play pause button, right? So.
So now, have you had any experience with the other devices, the Google Home or the Amazon Echo?
I have not, but owning this one, I think, is inspiring me to try like a Amazon Echo, right?
Yeah, I was just curious, sound comparison. I mean, the Echo is not a premium speaker, so I would assume the HomePod is quite a bit better. But I've been quite happy with the quality of the Echo, the full Echo. Mm-hmm. So I'm just curious if it's enough better to justify like 3.5x price, right? And then the other thing being that Google's got their Google Max or whatever,
the Home Max,
the Home Max that also has the higher quality speaker, and it's a similar price point. So I'd be really interested to see a comparison in the sound quality of those three. But
I mean, I have read some of the reviews. I think most of the reviewers are giving it good reviews and saying that it's better than maybe the Echo. But again, I don't know if that's a fair comparison or not in terms of speaker quality, right? But
most of them are actually even saying that the HomePod sounds better than the Home Max, which has technically two speakers in stereo, but apparently the enhanced tweeters and the enhanced bass and the enhanced being able to shape the sound for the room has made it just sound really good for the HomePod. That being said, you also have people who say if you're spending this much money, get a real stereo. So
I mean it does inspire me to want to try to. I mean, I'm also in the Amazon ecosystem as well. And so, I mean, it is inspiring me to maybe try an Echo as well. And I don't know, my thought of it is, I could have the HomePod here in my office where I've got it. And then the Echo would be a nice kitchen speaker to have in the kitchen. Right?
Yeah. See, if I ever got around to signing up for a Google Play Music subscription, then I might consider, but yeah, the speaker doesn't mean anything to me right now because it's just basically I need to be able to understand it when it talks to me, and that's about it.
Yep.
Rock
yeah.
on. So
they're all good. They're all have their pluses and minuses.
Yep.
Yeah. I will say that I was a big skeptic before. It was really Michael that kind of inspired me. So yeah, you really should try it. And and the one thing about this, the Apple HomeKit, that this is kind of like a HomeKit hub. So I could add other smart devices to my office, and this would help control that, right? So, and then it would sense that the smart lights are, that might be the next thing to add to the office here, is smart lights, and so I could give commands to, turn the lights on and or make them a different color or something of that sort.
Check out the Wemo stuff. That was the one that I was actually excited about at CES until I got home and realized that it's a Belkin product.
Yeah.
But on review, I think I like the Wemo stuff much better than like the Philips Hue. Because the Philips Hue, you have to purchase a hub. And then each one of the light bulbs is controlled independently. Whereas with the Wemo, you can just buy a light switch replacement. You don't need to buy the hub. You don't have to buy $30 light bulbs. You just put it in and now your room, you can turn it on and off, dim it for $30. So you might want to look into those.
Although you can get good deals on Philips Hue on Amazon.
Yeah, but that's another one of those things where once you're in the ecosystem, you're kind of stuck. Right. And then when they come out with new stuff, you have to get stuff that will work with theirs. And that's what I liked about the Wemo stuff, is that they're all just independent devices. So you can get just the light switch controller for a room. And if you only want to control that one room, you can control that room, or you can get a bunch of them throughout the house. And then they have other ones where, like, individual light switch, it's just a little box that you plug into the outlet, and then you plug your lamp into it, and you can control. And yeah, I mean, they've got some cool stuff. And then rather than getting locked into a specific ecosystem, then you can still use other stuff. But which is the one reason I will give Belkin a pass. And say, this is probably the only time that I would recommend checking out a Belkin product. So. All right.
Okay.
And, is that, Mike, did you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything this week. It's been a crazy week with my in-laws coming in. That's why I'm in a different room, a different setup and stuff. Like I said, I went and saw The Greatest Showman again, second time, so I'll double down on that, I guess.
Oh, I didn't realize it was the second time.
Yeah, I actually recommended it 2 weeks ago as my rave, and so I guess I'll double down on that. I saw it a second time, so it must have been good enough, and kids sat through it the whole way for a second time with a 5 and a 10-year-old, and it's a really great soundtrack. We've listened to it about 600 million times, and but the movie is still good. So, and it's still in theaters. It's got one of those long lives. It's like every time that they plan to remove it from theaters, they end up just keeping it because it's still better than anything else that's coming out and drawing a better crowd. So, if you've got,
it's better than Black Panther.
Well, that comes out tomorrow.
Oh, I thought it was already out.
No, tomorrow. So that might be the death knell for it. We'll see. But I would strongly recommend it, especially if you've got kids in the late, around 10, even 15-ish, or if you like musicals or circuses or really just good things. Basically, if you like things that are good, then you're good. If all you like is things that suck, then you probably don't want to go see this movie. But otherwise, you should go see it.
All right.
Try to catch it in a theater.
Rock on.
It is one of those where the sound quality of a really high quality sound system and a big screen makes a big difference. So.
All right.
Very cool.
Rock on. As far as me, I don't really have anything good or bad, but I will take this time to remind everybody that next Saturday, the 24th, is the February movie party. We will be celebrating my birthday, so come out and party with me. We're going to watch the Kevin Sorbo, Danny Trejo classic, Pool Boy, Drowning Out the Fury. If you haven't seen it, it is awesome. Matt, you can't miss this one. And then come right now, the patrons are voting on a couple amazing movies, and the results of that poll will be coming to Twitter on Friday. So check the @DC Movie Party Twitter account on Friday. Get the final, so you can participate in the final vote and decide
Do you
what
have
we're
the
going to be
leader
watching.
right now?
What's
Can
that?
you give us? Can you clue us into the leader right now?
Well, it's not. There isn't really a clear leader because we've got a list of like 5 movies, and then we'll take the top like 3 or 4. So like Megaforce is one of them. Thunderpants is one of them. If you've never seen Thunderpants, look it up. Watch the trailer. I saw it in 2002. Or it came out in 2002. I remember watching it a long time ago because I remember my wife hated it. And we've been divorced for 10 years, so that means it was a really long time ago that I watched that movie. But then again, she hated Team America and Borat, so you know, in hindsight, I'm glad she's not dragging me down with her terrible movies anymore. But it's gonna be fun. No matter what, Pool Boy is an amazing train wreck.
Did you know that Thunderpants is also a clothing line in New Zealand?
Nah.
I'll have to ask Strengths or Sean about that. Let's see what they have to say. But 9 p.m. Central, February 24th, in the Diamond Club Discord. Come join us. It will be fun. And with that, I think we should probably bring this show to a close. Thank you for everybody that participates in the live stream. You make this something that is absolutely worth doing every Wednesday for 69 episodes. Especially on a Valentine's Day where it could never be more fitting.
Surprisingly clean chat based on that setup we had.
I was kind of a little bit disappointed, but then again, we haven't looked at Showbot yet to see what the title suggestions are. Which reminds me that if you are watching this live, go on over to tvs.showbot.com. TV. I forgot, all of a sudden I blanked. And vote on what our title should be. If you're watching this after the fact, come on out, join us live sometime, because this is when the fun happens. You might get to choose the title. That is, if you're quick enough and funny enough. But don't let that stop you, because some of the best titles are the ones we don't use. That being said, we are live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central on Twitch. And guys,
Later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.